Right, Rangers fans, let's talk. The headline reads that we're through. A 1-1 draw in Athens, job done, next round of the Champions League. Sounds simple, right? But if you actually watch that game, you'll know it's not that straightforward. Because while the result says one thing, the performance told a completely different story. This was supposed to be a night of celebration, a comfortable ride into the next qualifying phase, maybe even a sign that this team's finally clicking. But instead, we got 90 minutes of frustration, confusion, and a team that still looks like it's searching for its identity. Let's be clear, qualifying is crucial. It means European football is guaranteed for the season, and with that comes money, experience, and a bit of prestige. That matters, but you can't look at that game and tell me this Rangers side looks ready to take on Europe's elite, because it doesn't. Not even close. And the thing is, we're not talking about a completely new squad that's still learning names in the dressing room. 8 of the starting 11 played for us last season. 8. So this idea that we're still gelling, still finding rhythm, only goes so far. Now look, I get it. Early season, new manager, new ideas, players still getting up to match sharpness. But come on, that performance was flat, it was slow, it was uninspired. We looked like we were trying to walk the ball across the halfway line. There was no urgency, no intent, no spark. It was possession without purpose. And in Europe, that'll get you knocked out quicker than you can say qualifiers. Let's talk about the defense, or whatever that was pretending to be a defense. Honestly, if Panathinaikos had brought their shooting boots, we'd be talking about a very different outcome. 20 shots they had, 6 on target. We managed. 10, 3 on target. That's not a small gap. That's domination. You could see it. You could feel it. Every time they came forward, we looked exposed. We looked nervous. Jack Butland once again saved us from disaster. And yeah, I've seen the criticism. Some people blaming him for the goal. Nonsense. The guy's been a rock. If there's anyone in that back line you can count on, it's Butland. The rest, Shaky doesn't even begin to describe it. Max Aaron's playing on the left is a mystery. He's a right back, a good one. So why is he out of position looking lost game after game? And Tal, look, I know what I'm about to say. It won't be popular, but it needs to be said. That was one of the worst performances I've seen from him in a Rangers shirt. Out of position. Sloppy in possession, no threat going forward. Completely lost his man for their goal. And it's not just this one match. It's becoming a pattern. He's our captain. He's supposed to lead by example. But right now, he's part of the problem, not the solution. Then you've got Souter on the wrong side of center back again. How many times do we need to learn this lesson? He's not comfortable. There. He never looks settled when he's on the left. He's right-footed. He struggles to turn struggles to play out. And it shows. Every time the ball came near him, you held your breath. That's not how it should be. The back line in general looked disorganized and second best in every duel. Gale did okay. Not brilliant, not terrible, just okay. But okay isn't going to cut it in Europe. Midfield was slightly better, but even that's a generous assessment. Rothwell tried to get on the ball, tried to dictate tempo, but too often he was slow or careless. Raskan at least gave us some drive. He made the run that led to the Gasama goal, and you got to give him credit for that. He was probably the best out of a mediocre midfield. But even then, the overall control of the match was lacking. We had more of the ball, sure, but we didn't do much with it. Possession stats only tell part of the story. What matters is what you do with the ball, and we didn't do nearly enough. And then we get to the front three, or what was supposed to be an attacking line. Finlay Curtis tried, I'll give him that, but he was ineffective. Dano, on the other hand, I thought played reasonably well. Had a couple of shots, worked hard, dropped deep to link play. He's clearly still working back to full fitness and sharpness, but you can see he offers something. Service to him was poor, no doubt, but he made things happen when he could. He didn't have a blender, but he wasn't the issue. Now let's talk about Dow. 74 minutes of nothing. No pace, no trickery, no impact. Just a body on the pitch. It was like playing with 10 men. And the scary thing, he keeps getting picked. I don't know what Russell Martin is seeing in training, but on the pitch, Dow looks miles off the pace. A 2.8 match rating, and even that feels generous. No shots, no key passes, no influence. And yet he starts. Week after week, it's baffling. Gasama comes on, makes an instant impact, scores a quality goal, and still has to watch from the bench at kickoff. What more does the lad have to do on Saturday against Motherwell? If Dow starts ahead of Gasama, serious questions need to be asked. As for the subs, decent impact from some. Heft and Bassi did okay, and then there's Deezers. Where do you even start with these as he gets through on goal, clean through and fluffs it? Again! He just cannot be trusted in those moments. Yeah, he runs. Yeah, he tries. But he misses the kind of chances that kill you in Europe. We've seen this movie before. It ends in heartbreak. If that game had been 2-0 to them and his miss had cost us 20 million quid and Champions League football, people would be furious. And rightly so. It's not personal, but facts are facts. You need your striker to finish chances. This Sears just doesn't. Honestly, I take Fashion Sakala back in a heartbeat over him. At least Fashion had chaos factor. Deezers is just predictable in the worst way. You know the miss is coming. You can almost feel it building. And sure enough, there it is. The guy's frustrating beyond belief. And yet we're light up front. We don't have a clear answer. Dano isn't there yet. Desires isn't reliable. And Gasama, while promising, is still unproven over 90 minutes. We need reinforcements. A striker is an absolute must in this window. Maybe two. But let's give credit where it's due. Gasama was the bright spark. Again. Came on, scored, lifted. The team gave the fans a reason to believe. He's got that energy, that confidence, that hunger you want to see in a young player. He makes things happen. He doesn't wait for the game to come to him. He goes and grabs it. And right now, that's what we need, especially with domestic football kicking off this weekend. We need players who can rise to the occasion, who don't hide, who don't shrink. So yes, Rangers are through. Yes, that's a big positive. It guarantees group stage European football. Worst case, Europa League. But let's not kid ourselves. If we play like that against Victoria Plyn, we're in trouble. They came back from behind in Switzerland. They're no mugs. They'll smell blood if we defend like we did in Athens. The margin for error is shrinking. The performances need to pick up fast. And it's not just about Europe. The league starts now. Motherwell. On Saturday, 3 points on the line. We can't stumble out the blocks. We need intensity. We need rhythm. We need clarity in the way we play. And above all, we need to show the fans that this team is capable of more than just grinding out results. Because right now, we're not watching a team. We're watching a group of individuals still trying to figure each other out. Russell Martin has work to do. That much is obvious. The squad isn't complete. The system isn't clicking. And some players, no matter how experienced, are not performing at the level required. We need a left back. We need a center back. We need a proper number 9. The market's still open. And if this club has any serious ambitions for the season, those deals need to happen. Not in 3 weeks now. And while some fans will say, just enjoy the win, I'd argue this. We're Rangers. We don't just play to get by. We play to dominate, to set standards, and that performance, that wasn't Rangers. That was a warning sign. A reminder that qualifying is one thing, but competing, that's a whole different level. Now we move forward, but we don't forget. Because it's not just about this tie or this moment. It's about what comes next, what kind of Rangers team we're building under Russell Martin, and whether we're genuinely on the path to something better or just papering over the same old cracks. And let's be honest here, these cracks aren't new. We've seen them season after season. Flat performances away in Europe. Sluggish league starts, individual mistakes at the back, and an attack that promises but doesn't deliver consistently. If anything, the biggest frustration right now is how familiar all of this feels. It shouldn't be like this. Not with the resources we've invested, not with the expectations placed on this team. You look around Scottish football, you look at the standard, the budget disparity, the infrastructure, and you realize Rangers should be dominating domestically and showing real progression in Europe. But we're not yet. And after watching that game in Athens, you can't honestly say we're close. The spine of the team is still too soft. The decision-making on and off the ball is hesitant. And there's a serious lack of authority in our play. Where are the leaders? Where is the control? You look at that back four, and there's no commanding voice. No one organizing, no one barking orders when the pressure's on. Everyone's too quiet, too reactive. You can't win trophies like that. You need players who demand more from themselves and their teammates, the kind who won't accept coasting through a game at 70%. That starts with the captain. And as harsh as it sounds, James Tavernier right now is not leading this group. Not on the pitch, not in these moments when we need calm heads and strong hearts. Because it's easy to wear the armband when you're flying. But when the chips are down, when you're away from home in a hot, hostile stadium, you find out who your real leaders are. And last night we didn't have many. But it's not just about the defenders. The midfield too. It lacks steel. There's a softness to it. We're too easily overrun. We don't win enough second balls. We don't dominate that central zone the way top sides do. It all feels passive. We let the opposition play far too much. And you know what's worse? We've got players in that squad who can dominate, who can control a match, but for whatever reason, we're not seeing it. Whether it's fitness, form, tactics, something's not clicking. You think about Rothwell, for example. Technically gifted, comfortable on the ball, but does he control the pace of the game? Not often. Raskin I said brings energy, but he's still young, still learning. Curtis is trying, but that final ball, that killer instinct, it's missing. It's like every line of the pitch has one or two decent parts, but none of them are working together as a unit. The transitions are poor. The movement is disjointed. We press in ones and twos instead of as a team. And when we lose the ball, the shape disappears. And then you've got to talk about the manager. Russell Martin's come in with fresh ideas, a new voice, and a lot of people have backed him. That's fair. Everyone deserves time. But time in football is short, and at Rangers it's even shorter. There's pressure to deliver straight away. And right now, Martin's vision for this team isn't clear. We're not seeing a defined style. We're not seeing patterns of play that tell you this team knows what it's doing. And that's worrying. You don't need to be perfect in August, but you do need to show signs. And too often, we're seeing the same mistakes. Slow tempo, poor decision-making, vulnerability under pressure. He talks about wanting the team to play fast, to be aggressive, to run. Well, where was that last night? Because if that's the plan, it's not translating on the pitch. That was slow-motion football. Safe passes, sideways, backwards, no penetration, no urgency. You want to play that style. You need players who are fit, confident, and brave on the ball. That means coaching. That means clear instructions. And it means players buying in. If they're hesitant, that's on the staff. Because this isn't a group of kids. This is a senior squad, many of them international players. So if they look lost, you've got to ask why. Now, let's circle back to the biggest takeaway of the night, Gasama. Because if there's a single player who came off that pitch with credit, it's him. A young player, fearless, confident, technically sharp, and with a real eye for goal. That finish wasn't easy. It came from a broken play, the kind of chaotic moment that often leads to nothing. But he reacted. He believed. He made the run, took the shot, and buried it. That's instinct. That's hunger. And that's what this team needs more of. You can't teach that. You either have it or you don't. What's impressive about Gasama is how little time he needs to make an impact. He comes off the bench, and within minutes, he's forcing defenders to think. He stretches the game. He runs at people. He gets into dangerous areas. And he's confident enough to shoot. That's more than you can say for half of our attackers. And listen, I'm not saying he's the finished product. He's not. But he's showing more than some of the senior players. And that has to be rewarded. If Russell Martin wants to send a message, if he wants to show that performances matter more than names, then Gasama starts on Saturday. It's that simple. You reward form. You reward bravery. And right now, Dow doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the starting 11. You don't get to walk into the team just because you've been here longer. Not when you're offering nothing. Gasama's earned his shot. He's the one giving the fans something to get excited about. The truth is, this isn't just about one tie. It's about setting standards. And that's been the issue for years. We let the bar drop. We accept mediocrity too easily. We excuse it. Oh, it's early season. Oh, it's a tough away tie. Oh, it's hot. That's not good enough. That's not the Rangers way. You play for this club, you show up. You perform, you compete. And if you don't, you sit. That's how it has to be. And let's not forget what's on the line here. Qualification for the Champions League means millions of pounds. Prestige, pulling power in the transfer market. It means competing at the highest level. You don't gamble with that. You don't put it in the hands of players who shrink under pressure. You need reliability. You need conviction because there are no second chances at this level. We've seen Victoria Pleasant fight their way back in Switzerland. They're no joke. They're organized, they're resilient, and they'll fancy their chances, especially after watching our performance in Athens. They'll believe they can come to Ibrox and get a result. And can you blame them based on that display? Who wouldn't? So something has to change now. And look, I know the mood around the fan base is mixed. Some are relieved, some are furious, most are just confused because this team doesn't make sense. You look at the squad on paper and it's not bad. It should be doing better. So what's missing? That's what Russell Martin and his team have to figure out quickly, because you don't get a grace period at Rangers. One bad result turns into a crisis overnight. And the fans, they've seen too many false dawns to be patient without reason. We need more signings. That's obvious. We need depth in key areas. A proper left back. Another center half. A striker with composure and experience. Maybe even another midfielder who can dictate the game. But more than anything, we need to see that the people running this show know what they're doing. That is a plan. Because if we stumble our way through this next round and then find ourselves in the Europa League after another flat performance, people will start asking tough questions. Rightly so. No one's saying we should be winning the Champions League, but we should be performing to a level that reflects the size and ambition of this club. We should not be hanging on in Athens hoping for the whistle. We should not be relying on one teenager off the bench to save the tie. That's not sustainable. That's not how you build a successful season. That's a house of cards. And with the league starting this weekend, it's the perfect chance to reset, to put out a statement performance. Show the fans that lessons are being learned. Show that the manager is willing to make brave decisions. Play the informed players. Give youth a chance. Demand more from the experienced ones. Because if we turn in a sluggish, disjointed display against Motherwell, all of this pressure will only grow. You want belief, you earn it. And it starts now. The Champions League dream is alive, but it's hanging by a thread. The foundation is shaky, the performances are flat, and the warning signs are everywhere. What happens next, how we approach the next week, how we train, how we prepare, will tell us everything about this team's mentality. Because one thing's for sure, if we carry on like we did in Athens, it's not going to end well. And no amount of spin, no amount of stats or possession percentages will change that. Football's played on the pitch. And on that pitch, we looked fragile, disconnected, uninspired. That has to change. Not next month, not next round, right now. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Rumors are swirling around the Scottish Premiership this week as speculation mounts that Rangers are closing in on the sensational signing of Lawrence Shankland from city rivals Hearts. Though no official announcement has been made, insiders suggest the Ibrox club has been keeping tabs on the prolific striker for months and that a deal could be imminent. Shankland, 29, enjoyed a stellar campaign last season, notching over 25 goals across all competitions and captaining Hearts with distinction. His leadership, eye for goal, and proven track record in Scottish football make him an ideal target for Rangers, who are looking to bolster their attacking options ahead of a demanding season that includes domestic and European commitments. The buzz among fans is electric, with social media flooded by discussions and debates over what his arrival could mean for the Gears' tactical setup and squad depth. It's said that Rangers sporting director has been in quiet talks with Hearts for several weeks. And although the Tynecastle side are reluctant to lose their talisman, the lure of a substantial transfer fee and the player's possible interest in Champions League football could prove decisive. At this stage, nothing is confirmed, but the streets of Glasgow are alive with expectation and curiosity. If Shankland does make the switch from maroon to blue, it would mark one of the most talked about domestic transfers in recent Scottish football memory. The idea of a Hearts captain donning Rangers colours has already sparked fierce discussion across forums and pub tables alike. Some argue that such a move would represent a significant step forward for Rangers' title ambitions, as Shankland's assured physical presence and clinical finishing are exactly what the team lacked during crucial stretches last term. Others, especially within the Hearts faithful, see it as a painful betrayal and fear it could signal a weakening of their aspirations in both the league and cup competitions. Interestingly, Shankland himself has remained silent amidst the mounting chatter, neither denying nor confirming the reports, which only fuels the rumors further. Observers note that his recent absence from some of Hearts' pre-season events could be telling. Whether it's a precautionary move to avoid injury ahead of a potential deal or simply coincidence is unclear. Still, agents and football journalists alike have pointed to an increasing number of signs that indicate something is indeed brewing behind the scenes, and that it's no longer a question of if, but when the transfer might materialize. Sources close to the Hearts camp suggest that although the club is reluctant to part ways with their star striker, they are also realistic about the economics of modern football. A transfer fee reportedly in excess of $3 million is hard to turn down, especially when there's pressure to reinvest in multiple areas of the squad. Should the deal go through, Hearts would likely pursue a swift replacement, perhaps even returning to the market in England's Championship or League One. Meanwhile, Rangers camp is said to be confident, if cautious, about the progress of negotiations. The allure of Champions League football and the chance to play on one of Britain's grandest stages may be too tempting for Shankland to ignore, particularly as he approaches the prime years of his career. Some fans believe the move could mirror past transfers where players from smaller clubs stepped up to the old firm and flourished, while others warn that the pressure and expectation at Ibrox are of a different magnitude entirely. Regardless, the speculation has taken on a life of its own, with journalists tracking private flights, hotel bookings, and even menu choices at Glasgow's more exclusive restaurants. Adding another layer to the speculation are recent comments from former Rangers players and pundits who have praised Shankland's abilities and hinted at inside knowledge of talks. A few ex-players now involved in media roles have all but confirmed the move, suggesting that Shankland would be a natural fit for manager Philippe Clément's tactical philosophy. Known for his aggressive pressing and high-energy approach, Shankland could complement Rangers' existing attacking options while also providing much-needed depth. There is also a growing sense that this signing could act as a psychological blow to Celtic, who are monitoring the situation but reportedly not involved in negotiations. A high-profile addition such as this could send a statement of intent across the league, signaling Rangers' ambition to wrestle back domestic dominance. Behind the scenes, it's whispered that Rangers are working to structure the deal carefully, possibly including performance-based clauses and future resale percentages. While official channels remain tight-lipped, a flurry of activity at the Rangers training center has not gone unnoticed, further fueling rumors that preparations for a medical and announcement video may already be underway. As things stand, there is still no official confirmation from either club, but the silence itself has become deafening. In the ever-evolving world of football transfers, where deals can be made or broken in a matter of hours, the lack of denial from involved parties speaks volumes. Fans of both sides wait anxiously, some hoping for a marquee signing, others bracing for a painful departure. Should Shankland don the famous blue jersey in the coming days, it would signal a significant shift in the landscape of the Premiership and possibly reignite the title race in a dramatic fashion. The implications extend beyond just goals and assists. It's about morale, symbolism, and the balance of power within Scottish football. Until pen is put to paper, however, everything remains in the realm of possibility. But as the days go by and the whispers grow louder, one thing is certain: Lawrence Shankland is now the name on everyone's lips. And if the move happens, it will be remembered not just for its impact on the pitch, but for the drama and anticipation that preceded it. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.